Hey guys, what's up? And welcome back to Vicurious. I'm your host, Matt. And if you guys didn't know, I actually posted my first video episode. So check it out on YouTube. Just search Vicurious Podcast and you should be able to see it. Enjoy. So here I am in San Francisco with zero income, trying to prove something to the world, trying to make something of myself. So what did my daily life look like? Well, it was pretty scrappy. I had absolutely no idea what the future had in store for me, which made me anxious, but also very conscious about the money that I spent. So I actually decided to cut back on one of those expenses: food. I remember there was this one time in San Francisco where I actually walked into a 7-Eleven and looked for the cheapest instant meal that I could, which happened to be this buy one get one free pizza. And I got it because I was pretty scared. I didn't have any income, I was paying for all my expenses in one of the most expensive cities in the world, and I wasn't sure if that was gonna change. So to hedge my bets, I ate the cheapest meals, and anything above $10 just looked too expensive for me. There was another time when I found a big loaf of bread for around $3, and I said to myself, hey, you know what, I can make this last me 2 or 3 meals. So I was walking around the city with this big loaf of bread in my bag, trying to eat it slowly just to save a few dollars. So my living situation was a completely different scenario. As some of you guys know, I have a friend here named Aaron, and he let me stay at his house for the first week. But I didn't want to bother the rest of his family too much, so after that, I was all on my own. I started off by booking an Airbnb. Although on the Airbnb posting it said I got my own room, when I got there, apparently instead, I was paying $40 a night to sleep on a sofa in the living room, with no walls or curtains. As you can imagine, it was not a good place to live. So after a few days of that, I moved to the cheapest hostel that I can find, and then my friend actually ended up visiting, so we split an Airbnb for a weekend. Then I went back to my first hostel, and they told me that they had a policy where people could only stay for a maximum of 14 days. So a few days after moving back, I had to find a second hostel to move into. And on top of all this, there were a few times where I would literally pack up all my belongings and take a 1-hour commute all the way back to Aaron's house so that I could spend the weekend there, just to save some rent money. I actually remember times when I was living in those hostels and I had to record for these podcasts. I would either wait for everyone in my room to leave, or if it was really late, I would just sneak off into the bathroom and just start recording myself there. But living in these hostels actually did help me go through some unexpected experiences. Okay.
It's not that hard. I'm making it seem very hard right now.
I'm concerned now.
Basics.
I thought I could do this by myself, but this is my first time ironing.
Really?
Ever.
Never
done. Yup, you heard it right. I have never ironed before. And that was because my mom was always there to just iron my dress shirts for me. So when I moved to San Francisco, this really nice girl in one of the hostels saw me struggling and offered to give me tips and help me out. So, hey, that was one of those things where I didn't expect to learn on this journey, but I guess I did. And it also made me really thankful to my mom. Ironing is definitely a struggle, and I can't believe she actually ironed all those shirts for me. So, thanks, Mom.
This is too hot? You need to have this
all the way on that side?
So it's not on the highest. It's
Oh.
not what you want. You want it on minimal.
Ow. So my whole food and living situations were definitely a humbling experience. But where did I actually spend the majority of my time? Looking for a job. So every day I would go up to Embarcadero Station and go into a coffee shop called Phil's and just spend hours and hours just applying to a bunch of jobs, at least 20 jobs a day. And just to go into some more detail, because I was Canadian, I had to make sure that the job that I was applying for actually fell under the right criteria in my working visa. So I basically broke up my job applications into 3 different buckets. I had marketing jobs, I had data analytics jobs, and I had consulting jobs. And sometimes they could intertwine, but I tried my best to break those apart, and I just applied a lot. And as you probably know, trying to get a job is not an easy thing. You have to be able to deal with a lot of rejections. And in my case, not only was I getting rejections left, right, and center, I was also getting rejected by the pure fact that I was Canadian, and some of these companies just did not want to go through the visa process. So it was definitely a challenge, and I honestly just had to stay strong because when those real opportunities came, I wanted to be prepared. I remember there was this time when I got continuous rejection after rejection, and I just felt completely exhausted. Like I did not want to continue it anymore. I was just so tired of it. And when I asked my friend on his thoughts on how to get out of this toxic mentality, he recommended 2 things. Number 1 was to really take advantage of my mornings. I kept waking up and the first thing that I did was check my Facebook or some other social media. And instead, based on his recommendation, I meditated in the morning, I journaled in the morning, I just got up and I did something. And at least for me, that really refreshed my mentality so that I was ready to tackle the day and continue to look for a job. And number 2 was to do some sort of exercise. I forced myself to go to the gym, even if it was for some quick 15-minute workout. Just do some kind of exercise so that your mind stays clear and that you can continue to push through when things got tough. And honestly, that's what I did, and it really, really helped me out. So if you guys ever do feel like you're stuck in any of those situations, try those out, and at least for me, it definitely helped a lot. So that's what I did. I just continued to grind through it, and eventually, my opportunity came.
Hi, Matthew. This is Rumiko calling from Sensor Tower. I'm a recruiter here, and I saw your application come through.
Yep, that's right. Making some progress out here in San Francisco. Let's just say that the next episode will be pretty exciting. Thanks for listening, guys.